What's up, YouTube? How's everybody doing out there? My running career coming to you again, and I'm here to give my take on the Green Lantern movie. I just saw it, and bottom line, guys, I was entertained. I was very entertained by the movie. Um, it made me laugh, and of course, as me, guys, you know I nitpick at a lot of things, and I'll get into it more. But bottom line, I was entertained. So with two of my good friends that did reviews, like Deadpoolzilla and Zip Lagor, Zip was a little disappointed in the movie, and I could kind of see where he was coming from. Deadpool was entertained somewhat, and I can understand where he was coming from. But with me, I was entertained, and I'm glad that someone mentioned this before. You know, it they tried to stray a little bit. The way I look at it, guys, they went a little too far with the comedy, in my opinion. But still, it was okay. When it was needed, it was needed. Um, okay, so I'm gonna start with the negatives that I didn't like about the movie. All right, first and foremost, the origin of Parallax. What the hell was that? Basically, they pretty much mixed Parallax origin pretty much with Chrono, Chrono, basically. And I'm like, okay, that's really, really weird to me. I didn't like that. A lot of people said Blake Lively, and you know what? I will have to agree with you. She started off pretty decent in the beginning of the movie, and then towards the ending and middle of the movie, she started becoming more of, instead of a strong, centered female character, she became damsel in distress, twirly, twirly girl, you know, that giggles and laughs and things like that. You know, I just can't really get into it too much. Hector Heyman. Hector Heyman. Okay. Why was he in this movie? Okay, why was he in this movie? I know they were trying to give another host of, okay, we need a person that's in this movie, villain that's in this movie that is not just Parallax. But the way I looked at Hector Heyman in this movie, let's just put it like this, we all looked at it, was like, Hector Heyman came off as a, not a secondary villain, but a secondary first class pervert slash child molester. It just the things he did in this movie was just like, yo, what the hell is with this guy? Like, there's a scene in the movie, guys, and I'm sorry to spoil this for you, where he actually hugs Blake. He hugs Carol, and then he sniffs her hair, or he follows her around and he's stalking. I'm like, this is stuff pedophiles do. I was like, is he coming off as a pedophile? Because that's ridiculous. Now, when he got his telekinetic powers and things like that, they were cool. I mean, when he was doing with them was really cool. I mean, when he was using them, it was really cool. But when he fought Hal for the first time with them, you know, it was crazy. But then he did something really sick and perverted once again that just had me like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, I mean, it's just like how my brother said, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when pedophiles get superpowers. because that is exactly what Hector Heyman came off like. It was just
He was like,
one scene he actually falls down with Hal, and he's going, oh, oh, Hal, you come so different, and then Hal tries to get up and stay down, and I'm like, yo, I'm like, whoa, okay, what are you gonna do? You gonna rape this guy? I just was like, I just was laughing at that, but you know, it just came off that way with, and they kept constantly zooming up on this man's face every time. You know, bottom line with Hector Heyman, it looked like he had a giant tumor, a giant tumor the size of a watermelon in his head. You know, but things I did love. I loved the constructs that Hal was creating. You know, he made some great constructs that really. Bottom line, the best actor in this movie to me personally was Mark Strong's character Sinestro. He was very good and very, 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 uh, very much like I looked at him and I saw Sinestro, even without the makeup. Just the way he acted, the way he did things, it was great. What I did, another thing I think some people also had a problem with was the fact that uh, just one day training with Kilowog and Hal is now a master wielder of the ring and things like that. You know, I understand they did it for time, but still, to me it felt more like you rushed that. You know, not seeing more of Kilowog and Tomer and things like that. Tomer, it was like, you know what? Come on, like seriously. Uh, One thing that also was cool is that they made fun of Green Lantern's mask. Like, I mean, I talk about this a lot with a lot of my friends. It's like, how can people like Robin and people like that wear those little masks that just cover their eyes, and people are not gonna recognize them? And in the movie, they touch on that, which was really funny. I was like, oh shoot, you know, that was funny. Uh, but I will say this, guys. You know, Mr. Reynolds did come off more as Guy in this. I saw more Guy than Hal. You know, things that he was doing, I was like, Hal wouldn't do that. You know, Hal, that's not Hal. That's more Guy. You know, him posing in the window, posing, looking at himself with his uniform on. I'm like, that's more Guy than Hal. Uh, and of course, Parallax, the whole big scene. I've said it before and I'll say it. Parallax looked like a giant mountain of doo-doo shit, basically. Uh, Even in space, he looked like it was just. It's basically, since it's no gravity out there, it's zero gravity. When he was out there, that this pretty much looked like what crap would look like if it was floating out in space, if it was liquefied. You know, when he would crawl over the buildings, it looked like somebody was pouring liquefied crap over it. But I did like Clancy Brown's voice coming out of Parallax. But I did not like what they did with Parallax's origin. You know, I didn't like that. I thought that was really stupid in my opinion. It you know, instead of doing the real origin. What I also liked, I gotta admit, I did love that last fight scene with Parallax and Hal. Now, the problem I had, but there was a problem I did have with that fight. Now, I know they were trying to tell a story of, Hal has to overcome his fears and things like that. But all these other lanterns that are more veteran than Hal, and he's able to beat Parallax by himself. No help, no nothing. And I was like, you know what? That's cool and all, but you know that he should have had some help. It's never wrong to have some help. Excuse me. Uh, but overall, it was a very entertaining movie. I was very entertained. We were entertained. Uh, there were some things I nitpicked at, of course. You know, as me, a hardcore Lantern fan I am. Now, some may say, but then you're not a real hardcore Lantern fan because that movie was a disappointment, in my opinion. You know what? They got a lot to learn, and this movie proved it. You know, and we'll just have to see if they go through with the sequel and move on. But of course, that tidbit at the end really left it open for a sequel. Now, in speaking about the ending, and the ending after the credit. Okay, I'm gonna spoil this for you guys. Sorry. Sinestro puts on the yellow ring, and you see his suit turn yellow and everything like that. And then he looks more like the Sinestro that we all know. However, when he was putting it on, he looked more like confused and like he felt. It almost felt like he was just like, I don't know, should I do it or should I not? Things like that. But we didn't really see Sinestro being built up to being the uber villain for a sequel or so. But maybe they'll have to touch on that more. Uh, but I was entertained. I'm glad that I was entertained about the movie. Now, I'm not saying it was the best or it was super great, but it was entertaining. And I did enjoy being entertained to that level. Um, so I'm glad that Lantern had its spotlight on the big screen, and hopefully we'll see more characters from DC get their shine besides just Bruce and Clark. And that's all I gotta say, guys, about this. You guys take it easy. Stay tuned. Keep it real. I'm out.